Hi everyone, so we're looking at addition of proper fractions and addition of mixed numbers or mixed fractions today, okay? So first thing with fractions, proper fractions in particular, proper fractions so I'm just going to use the first fraction we have at the side for the example there, a quarter. A proper fraction is when the numerator, that's the number at the top, is smaller than the number at the bottom. So it's small, the numerator is smaller than the denominator, right? So a quarter is a proper fraction. 3/8 is a proper fraction because 3 is smaller than 8, right? Cool. So now for fractions, just looking at the explanation here, the first thing we need to do is to find the common denominator for both fractions. In other words, remember that thing called LCM? We need to find the LCM of the two denominators. So we need to find the LCM of 8 and 4. I'll circle it wrong side. 4 and 8, right? So now we're just going to list the multiples of 4 and 8. Now you need to remember multiples, when you think about multiples, think about your multiplication times table. So the multiples of 4 will be 4, 8, 12, 16, go on to 20, 24, and so on, right? I just stopped at 16, right? And dot, 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 because it goes on and on. Multiples of 8 would be 8, 16, 24, 30, dot, dot, dot. Now we need to figure out which multiple, what is the lowest multiple or lowest number that they have in common, right? So they have, the lowest number they have in common is 8. So 8 is our LCM, right? So now next, what we need to do is we need to make sure, so we need to ensure that both fractions has a common denominator of 8. So basically, a quarter, right? Put it like this. And you have your 8 there. We want to make that new denominator 8. How did we get from 4 to 8? We multiply by 2. So whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator, to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. Good. And then we need to do the same thing. We have 3 8s. We already have that common denominator of 8, so we don't have to do anything for that then, right? So now what we're going to get is this 2 over 8 plus 3 over 8. And then from there, we have our common denominator. So you just put your common denominator for the both. Once you have a common denominator, you just add the numbers at the top. That's how we get the 2 plus the 3 equals 5 over 8. Right? Pretty simple. Let's look at another one together. So now we're going to add these two fractions here. 3 over 8 plus 2 over 5. So 8 and 5 are different, so we need to find a common denominator, right? Like LCM. So first things first, I'll do it at the side here. List out your multiples of 8 and 5. So multiples of 8 to be 8, 16, 24, 32, 48. Keep on, you can just put your dot, dot, dot afterwards, right? If we need to add on afterwards, we'll add on. Multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So if you want, we could stop and see if we find anything in common. Is there anything in common so far? No, I'm not seeing anything in common as yet, so we need to keep going. 35, 40. All right, we can stop. Our lowest number in common is now 40. So now, let's make each number or each fraction, let's make the fraction with 40 as the denominator. So I'm going to do that for the both fractions. So 8 times what is 40? 8 times 5. So 3 by 5 will give me 15, right? And then doing the same thing to the next fraction. 5 by 8 will give me that 40. So 2 by 8 will give me 16. And now we are going to add our two fractions with the common denominator of 40. So 15 over 40 plus 16 over 40. And now we just put the common denominator 40. And because we already have the 40 here and the 40 here, just add the numerators, the numbers at the top. 15 plus 16. And then we will get what? 5 plus 6 is 11. You get 1 there, 31 over 40. So you see, simple, right? Alright, let's look at one more together before we look at the mixed numbers. Alright, so now we're looking at 3 over 4 plus 5 over 6. Again, we need to find that common denominator. We need to find the LCM of 4 and 6. So let's start with multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, Multiples of 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, So what is my lowest common multiple? 12. That's the lowest number they have in common. So now 12 is going to be my common denominator. So now change your 3/4 and your 5/6. Make those two numbers or fractions new fractions with the common denominator of 12. So for the first one, 3 over 4. 4 times what to give me that 12? 4 times 3. And then 3 times 3, again you have to multiply the same thing at the top. You get 9. And then 5 over 6, for the 6, how did we get the 12? 6 by 2. And then do the same thing at the top. So you get 10. Great. Now we're going to take out 2 new fractions with the common denominator, 9 over 12 plus 10 over 12. Right? Put it all over 12 at the top. And alright, because the number at the top is bigger than the number at the bottom. You could change it to a mixed fraction. 12 will go into 19 one time. And remainder what? So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, remainder 7. Right? And that's my answer. You could leave your answer just like this as the improper fraction. If you have a question, they specify that you change it to a mixed number, you have to change it, right? So now we're going to look at addition of mixed fractions, or sometimes they say mixed numbers, right? Mixed fractions, mixed numbers. So a mixed fraction or mixed number is basically a fraction with a whole number, and then they have the fraction next to it, right? At this left hand side here, I just showed you all, for those who forgot, how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, because when we are doing the addition of mixed fractions, we are going to change our mixed numbers, mixed fractions, to improper fractions. Yes, you can do it by adding the whole numbers and then working separately, but the way I'm doing it here is always change. I'm telling you all to always change it to the improper fractions, and then they're going to work as normal as after that, right? So now, just to recap how to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions, you multiply the denominator and the whole number. So 3 times 4, right? And then add the answer to the numerator. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 3 will give me what? 15. And then they put that answer over that denominator. That's what they call the 15 over 4, right? So let's change these two here to improper fractions. So we get, well, we have this as the 15 over 4 already, right? Let's change the 2 and 2/3 to an improper fraction. 2 by 3 is 6 plus that 2 is what? 2 by 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 over 3. So now I decide now, again, just like what we were doing before, find the LCM of the denominators, 4 and 3, to find that common denominator now that we're going to use, right? So for 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, The lowest number they have in common is that 12 there, right? So now, let's make each fraction. Let's get it to that common denominator of 12. So 12. So for the first one, 4 by 3, we're going to make that 12, right? So now I need to say 15 by 3, which is 45. And then 3 by what gives me the 12? 3 by 4. 8 by 4 is what? 32, right? So now I will get 45 over 12 plus 32 over 12. Put everything over the 12 now. 45 plus 32. What answer is that when we add it? 5 and the 2 will give me 7. And then 4 and the 3 gives me 7. 7 over 12. And this is an improper fraction, right? Because the number at the top, the numerator, is larger than the denominator. I could go ahead and let's change it to a mixed fraction, mixed number. How many times 12 we're going to 77? Need to do times tables for fractions, huh? So 12 over 77, how many times? 5 times, remainder, is it 5 times? No, it's not 5 times, my bad, I made a mistake. So 12 can go into 77 6 times, right? Because 6 by 12 is 72, remainder 5. 6 and 5, 12s, right? You need to know your division, your multiplication, and so on, right? Now let's look at this other one here. So let's go right ahead, change our mixed numbers, mixed fractions, to improper fractions. So we will get, I'll just write to the side here, 2 by 4 is 8 plus 1, that's 9 over 4. 1 by 2 is 2 plus 1, that's plus 3 over 2. We need to find the LCM of 4 and 2, right? So 4 and 2, so 4, 8, 12, 16, dot, dot, dot. Those are my multiples of 4. Multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, dot, dot, dot. So the LCM, the lowest common multiple, is 4. So now we're going to make each number common, that with a fraction with a common denominator of 4. Now we don't need to change the 9 over 4 because that already has the common denominator of 4, right? So change the 3 over 2 to that with a common denominator of 4. So 2 times 2 will give me that 4, right? So multiply the 3 by the 2 and I'll get 6. So now we get 9 over 4 plus 6 over 4. Add the numbers at the top, the numerators, and we would get 15 over 4. And how many times can 4 go into 15? 4 can go into 15 3 times, right? Because 3 by 4 is 12. Remainder what? 13, 14, 15. Remainder 3. So we get 3 and 3/4. So you see how simple this is? In our next video, we'll be looking at subtraction of proper fractions and subtraction of the mixed fractions as well, right?